It's online. Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Mitch, does the screen still look okay on your end?
Yeah,
Nothing
looks great. Actually, you and Sunny are sitting right next to each other. So,
Okay, I want to make sure that way I don't have anything out of whack going onto his screen.
nah, it looks fine.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So we are gonna get started in just a minute here.
I'm actually very surprised that since you're sharing his screen and he's so far away, that there's really not very much lag at all.
That's really impressive, actually.
I'm surprised. So it tells you about that one. Didn't think we could pull this one off, but oh well. So we're all good to go. Well,
Yeah,
let's get
think so.
started. Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Bob with Century 21 Jordan Ling. So we have a special guest again. We have Sunny with Cybercy Group out of the United Kingdom doing a sequel to the cybersecurity training or tips and tricks that he provided last week. So he's going to go do a review, and then he's going to go into a little bit more in depth on how you can protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, and your business. So not to waste any time, I'm going to hand it over to Sunny. And let me share. Give me 1 second, Sunny.
No problem.
And Mitch, are we all good?
Yep.
It's all yours, Sunny.
Everything.
Brilliant. Thank you, Bob, and thank you very much for welcoming me back. I do appreciate it. I'm Sunny Vara. I'm the CEO. Actually HQ'd out of the UK in London, but we're fast growing into the US, into the UAE and Australia region at the moment as well. I've been in the cybersecurity industry for the last 20 years, and to be really transparent, I didn't actually study to go into the cybersecurity world. I had no intention of going into the cybersecurity world around about 20 years ago. The reason why I fell into cybersecurity is, and I mentioned this story at the last session, at the Cybersecurity 101 session that I did this time last week. I basically saved up for a house deposit. And me and my wife actually saw our dream house almost 20 years ago. And what happened to me was I found out I had a really bad credit score. Somebody had taken out £250,000 worth of loans in my name, and obviously didn't pay it back. And so I went through 4 years of 4 years of hell, I'm going to call it at this stage, and it was painful. I had Barclays Bank chasing me for paying out the £250,000 that they thought that I had taken out. And then there was no real support for me. I even went to my local police, the UK police and all that stuff as well. And there was nobody out there at that time to really listen to my what actually happened to me. And yeah, I had to fight it out in court. So for 4 years, Barclays Bank took me to court. For 4 years to kind of pay that 250 grand back, and obviously I didn't. But luckily, what I did was I went through a phase through obviously from a mental and physical perspective. I went through a bit of a downward spiral, but I'm now lucky to say that I was lucky to meet some very clever people, more clever than me, that knew what this thing of dark web was as well. And what I found out quite quickly is that how much of my personal and sensitive information was actually out there on the dark web, and how my information was readily available to fraudsters who basically were able to create these loans on my name. And it was right about then where I had to defend myself, because I didn't have the money to defend myself in court, etc. I was able to kind of befriend these people who were very familiar with the dark web, and learn from them in terms of how much information was available about me, and I was able to work with the police, the local police in the UK, to kind of fight me out of this battle as well. And this little logo on the left-hand side of your screen, Cyber Resilience Centre. So now, I think the irony now is that 20 years on, I'm now a cyber resilience board member. So I advise the police on cybersecurity, and that's what Cybercy do. Cybercy, my company, over the last 20 years, I've personally learned around how individuals and businesses like yourselves are, how hackable they are. And what Cybercy do, what my business does is we educate people through seminars and webinars like this and one-to-one interactions and face-to-face interactions. And we educate people in terms of how much of your data is actually out there, potentially in the wrong hands, and how hackable you are and what the risks are. And more importantly, what I do is I now go onto the dark web for my clients and friends and family and whoever I get consent from to be able to kind of unearth, how much of their information is actually out there, and be basically able to put layers of security around them as well. So that's what Cybercy do. Cybercy was actually born in 2017. As I said, we're fast growing, and that's a bit about me, really. As you can see on your screen, I mean, there is a QR code on there as well. Feel free to connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn and all the social media channels, and my email address and all that will be on there as well. Feel free to reach out to me, because besides this 1 hour webinar, there's lots of hints and tips that I actually put out there to protect you, your families, and your businesses as well. So that's what Cybercy do. We help with data protection, cybersecurity, and we enable organizations to do AI. So, as Bob mentioned at the start of this session, today's about, it's a sequel to the Cybersecurity 101 session that I did this time last week. And this is almost a recap of what I was talking last week. So I will cover off whoever's joined again. I will kind of have a refresher for you for what I actually covered off last week, but there will be a bit more technical, actionable steps that I do want to finish off with that will help you to protect yourselves, your families, and your business as well. I will talk about hackers and the dark web in a bit more detail. I'll talk to you about in this session around data protection, so your own data protection, and securing your services, your data, and all your devices. There will be another test in terms of how safe is your email, and obviously from my perspective, so I've learned the trade of being an ethical hacker. So where I actually help organizations is through their consent. I'm able to ethically hack themselves and into their organizations, and then replay back what information is available. And I'll touch upon how I do all that today as well. Again, I won't go through all this, but you can see on your screen in terms of what I want to cover off, and I hope to give you valuable insights and actions to take away. What you'll be able to do as a result of this session is hopefully you'll be able to strengthen your cybersecurity knowledge to the next level. So whatever posture you've got in terms of security, knowledge and expertise, I hope to actually add to it as well. I want to give you some strategies to secure your data as well. So, I really want you to make sure you're aware of what data is actually out there and how to protect it. And really, this is the key thing. When data breaches happen, cyber attacks happen, I'm going to be touching upon how to avoid these cybersecurity attacks. And more importantly, not more importantly, but equally importantly, I want you to confidently manage your online risk in this fast-paced real estate world that you all live in as well. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but this is something that I want you to take a picture of. You're going to get a copy of these slides anyway, but this is the actionable steps that I'm going to talk about at the end. But one statement that I always start off with, cybersecurity is not just an IT issue, and Bob and his team, for example, do some amazing work in IT. And I'm a firm believer that, IT is about kind of obviously supporting you information technology when it comes to, providing you the right software, the hardware, looking at your data and providing you the right infrastructure. But what cybersecurity is about, it's the wrapper around your IT. That's the way I can best describe it. Yeah. So it's the layer around your IT that you need to be aware of, and that's what today's session is about. It's not just a boardroom issue as well. It is about every single one of you understanding your own personal and business cybersecurity. So you know, I do ask you to be diligent and vigilant, and hopefully I'm going to give you some tools and techniques that you need to be aware of to protect yourself and your customers as well. Again, we are talking about risk. So everyone's heard of Warren Buffett. You know, he talks about, you know, business's reputation takes 20 years to build, but 5 minutes to ruin. I talk about, you know, from my perspective, in this digital world that we all live in, when a cyber attack actually happens, it takes less than 5 seconds to ruin your business after all that work that you've actually done as well. I think the other thing I wanted to mention is just to put cybersecurity into context. If cybersecurity was a crime, if cybercrime was a country, apologies, its economy would be the 3rd largest in the world. Yeah. So you've got the US economy, you've got the Chinese economy, obviously, you know, but behind these two countries, you've actually got cybercrime. That's how massive it is as an industry. And then you've got Japan and so forth, etc. as well. All right. So if it was a cybercrime, this is just my way of describing how massive cybercrime is as well. It's really important that you understand what cybersecurity absolutely means. Now, if you Google what does cybersecurity actually mean, you know, you're going to get hundreds, if not thousands, of definitions. But I have a real simple definition here. Okay, yeah. Cybersecurity is about putting the technical and organizational measures around your personal and business devices, your services that you actually provide through your brokerage, for example, and through your real estate business, and protecting your personal and commercial data. All right. So these organizational and technical measures we're going to talk through today. Yeah. But cybersecurity is all about your devices. Yeah. Your phones, your laptops, your monitors, your IoT devices. So it's about, you know, most of you might have Alexas and Google Homes and Apple Homes and all that stuff as well. It's about, you know, really putting the security measures around these devices, making sure, you know, things like your websites are kind of foolproof and they've been protected. I'm going to talk later about something called pen testing, stands for penetration testing. So when we do an ethical hack, the first thing that we do is try and attack you from your contact us page on your website. And what we're able to do in a ethical way to demonstrate how hackable your business is we put lots and lots of messages, and it could be down to the millions of messages through your website, and lock you out. Now, my way of doing it is to demonstrate if I was a black hat hacker. So black hat hackers in the industry are termed as bad people, and the white hat hacker is what I am, is the ethical side as well. Okay, yeah. So when you get these bad actors, these threat actors as well, making sure that you're aware of how vulnerable you are, and making sure you've got all these technical things in place, which I'm going to talk about today, to protect you from getting cyber attacked as well. And of course, you know, that personal sensitive data that you manage on behalf of your customers, you know, how would it impact on your business if you had a cyber attack and you're not able to go and get your personal data and be locked out of your systems? Again, we're going to talk about that today. So this screen is about giving you the landscape of the personal and sensitive data that's actually out there. Now, it's what you've actually got here is an iceberg where you've got what's called this. That is what I would say is the surface web. Yeah. So everyone's used to the internet and going into it and Googling stuff. You've got what's called the deep web, which is where a lot of organizations' data is kept. So hospitals keep their medical records and legal documents and all that stuff. So that's the deep web. Typically, that's like databases or stuff on the cloud that you'd actually put on as well. And then you've got this thing called the dark web, and the dark web is where these bad people, you know, who make it a business of their own, is to kind of really look at the information that's readily available that you put out there on your mobile devices, for example, that's readily available. And that's where they really, really act as well. So to give you an idea, 4% of all available personal data is available on the surface web, yeah? So on the internet as you and I know it. 90% of the personal sensitive information is kept on the deep web. Okay, so these are the databases and organizations, infrastructure, clouds, all that stuff as well. 90% is stored on there, and 6% of that data is actually kept on the dark web. Now, this is where your drug trafficking actually happens. If you wanted to buy weapons, if you wanted to hack people, if you wanted to hack an individual, you actually have things called hire a hacker and all that stuff as well. 6% of the personal sensitive data sits there. Where the hackers actually operate is on the deep web and the dark web. So whatever information you put out on Google, so through your social media profiles, for example, where you're checking in on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff, that information would seep into the deep web and the dark web. And this is where they actually operate. So this is just a good visual of, where the hackers actually operate, and for you to be aware of what other information is actually available. There is a link I'm going to give you later for you to be able to test how much information is actually on the deep and dark web at the moment as well. What you can see on your screen, apologies for the, I'm not sure why it's faded here, but when you go onto the dark web, you can do all sorts of services as well. It's like, for those who haven't seen it, it's very much like a normal website where you can hire a hacker services. You can buy, if you wanted to hack into someone's phone, if you wanted to monitor your partner for cheating, if you wanted to hack into someone's Facebook or WhatsApp, very, very easy to do. And, if you wanted to do a ransomware attack, it will cost you $48 to actually kind of hire a hacker and to kind of put ransomware on people as well. So again, just to give you an idea of what type of services actually do operate out there as well. Now, if you ask me, and this is something I touched upon last week, if you ask me what's the hot topic on the dark web in the last, I'd say 6 months, it's individuals' Wi-Fi router passwords. So you'll all recognize this. If you just imagine now, if you look wherever you're sitting at the moment, wherever your router is at the moment as well, yeah? So if you're sitting at home or in the office, you will have a Wi-Fi router with the Wi-Fi network name and a wireless password as well. Now, this is something that's a default password that will be a sticker on the back of your router. Now, I can guarantee you that if I went onto the dark web today, these router passwords are actually available on the dark web. So my first tip to all of you is in your office and at home, make sure you've changed your Wi-Fi password, all right? Now, the reason why I say this is really, really important is because this is the way hackers would actually enter into your office or enter into your home, and to be able to kind of watch and listen on the device that you're on. So it could be your phone or your laptop, and sit there. And on average, they would sit there, and there's stats to prove this as well. On average, they would sit there for 290 days and just profile you, right? And you'll have noticed where, normally where you go onto Facebook or, on Google, and you will actually go onto, I don't know, you want to buy an Audi. You go onto Audi's website and you click on cookies. And once you click on cookies and accept the cookies as well, you may be interested in an Audi A7 and an Audi A5 or something like that. And then all of a sudden, you'll get adverts. So all of you will resonate to this whilst I'm speaking. So once you start to get these adverts, what the hackers will do is almost kind of profile you. They'll monitor what websites you actually go on and basically profile you. So if you are interested in that Audi, all of a sudden, guess what? You will get a phishing email to basically give you a massive discount on an Audi. And because you've been looking at it, what they'll do is word it in such a way that will trick you to clicking on a link. Now, I can guarantee you, and this is what my business proves to individuals who use our services, for example, there are ways and means of once you've clicked on that phishing link. So phishing link is like just an imitation email. that the hackers use to trick you, once you've clicked on it, there are ways and means of them just accessing your webcam as well. And what they'll do is watch your facial impressions. They'll actually listen to your voice. And then everyone's heard of deepfakes, right? So that's how deepfakes are actually made, where they'll get your voice and your face, and they'll actually identify videos and create videos of you saying stuff as well. I'm going to pause there as well, actually, and I don't know if there's any questions, or has this surprised anyone, or is that's kind of did everyone know about that? Mitz, can I go to you or Bob just to see if there is any questions? If there's not, that's fine. I'll carry on.
No questions at the time, but it's a great summary.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, Mitz. So, tip number one, and there'll be lots and lots of hints and tips throughout the session. Please change your Wi-Fi password. Yeah. All right. Now, one thing I was going to say as well, tip number two is Google is, so I still use Google, but the second tip I want to use is, remember, Google, when you're actually putting personal sensitive data on there, it is being collected. And if you haven't changed your Wi-Fi password, what will happen is very easy for hackers to look at what information you're putting onto Google and profile you, etc. as well. Now, on a personal note, what I do is I use something called DuckDuckGo. That's D-U-C-K, Go. Yeah. Now, it's a private browser that doesn't actually track you. Yeah. So from a personal perspective, I mean, I came over to the US only about 2-3 months ago, and what I was doing was I was actually booking flights, but I did it all through DuckDuckGo. But my colleague was also booking flights, but they did it through Google. Now, there was lots of toing and froing, and so I booked my flight for, I'm going to say $500, for example, just for example purposes, but the same flight my colleague, because they were going onto Google, and it was being tracked, and there was a lot of interest, my colleague actually paid $750 for that same flight that I actually had. Yeah. So tip number two, if you don't want to be tracked, and if you want to make sure that your browsing is really it's private and it's personal to you, and you don't want to pay extra flights or etc., use something called DuckDuckGo. All right. So actually, tip number two. As I said, and again, it's something I spoke about last week as well. This is quite a powerful slide, and there's something called homograph phishing. Yeah. Now, when you look at these two websites, one's fake and one's legit. So I want you to have a look at that, and I don't know if anyone would like to comment on what's different. Why is that top one fake? Now, again, Mitz or Bob, I don't know if there's anyone putting their hands up, or because I can't see anyone, by the way. So
No, nobody yet.
Okay, all right. So let me point it out as well. So basically, what you've actually got is you've got Apple website, but look at this L, and look at this L. I'll leave you with that. All right. So how easy, we're all busy people. How easy is that to be tricked? I mean, it's got the S. S means, SSL, certificate, it's secure and all that stuff as well. Once you've gone onto that fake website, which can be like a phishing link, once you've clicked on that, there is, this particular one I'm talking about is they can get access to your webcam as well. And they can actually look at your keystrokes. So if you're going onto your bank after clicking on that link, when you put your user ID and password in, it will actually record your keystrokes. So guess what? They'll have your user name and your password for your bank as well. So please just have a look at this in terms of be vigilant. And there are lots of tools and techniques that I provide to be able to distinguish between what's a phishing email and what's not a phishing email as well. Again, it's something I told at the last session as well, but my brother, it was a victim to this as well. So how hackers identify your location. So you think my own brother would, listen from all the hints and tips that I give. But anyway, he actually booked a holiday, checking in on Facebook and all that kind of stuff as well. Checked in at the airport. Guess what? On the dark web, you can actually buy people's data who are going on holiday. They may have actually checked in at home at some point, And you can buy people's data in terms of who's actually gone on holiday and who's got an empty house, etc. So there is something called GeoSpy. Yeah, so you can Google this. It's a safe website to go on as well. GeoSpy is something where you can actually paste pictures in there, and that picture will actually tell you the time and the exact location of where that picture was actually taken. All right. Now, AI is just accelerating cybersecurity to another level. And what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that, I mean, everyone's heard of ChatGPT and all these LLMs, large language models that have actually come in. Cybersecurity is a lot more kind of advanced. Cybercrime is a lot more advanced, I should say, where one of the other tips I wanted to give you is you can go on Google. Please again, please use, and if you don't know how to do this, please reach out to me, but blur your house out if you don't want to be tracked as well. There are ways and means to do this. Hackers use this kind of data to actually observe, you know, what window you've got and where the handle is, you know, what window is actually locked and not locked and all that kind of stuff as well. And you can buy this data on the dark web, by the way, as well. All right. Yeah. So again, what I'm going to propose at the end of this session is, you know, there is something called a health check. If you reach out to me, I gave you the QR code at the start, but reach out to me, you know, and I'll give you all the hints and tips in terms of how to protect your house, and looking at the pictures that you've actually put on there and how easy is it to actually tell where that picture was actually taken as well. I'm going to put a video on that, Bob. If you can't hear it, please come on and just notify. But just wanted to kind of for you to listen to this.
And I can, you know, I can look through your webcam, I can control your keyboard, your mouse, look at your screen, do anything I want without you knowing that I'm there. And I infected a ton of computers. And instead of having the remote access Trojan functionality where I could do, you know, I could take control of these computers, I decided to do crypto mining. So at that time it was just Bitcoin and Litecoin, and you know, I had quite a bit of infected computers mining at all times. The thing that I did that was, if you could say nice, was that when the computer was idle, it would use 100% of the processor and the graphics card to mine the coins. And when the computer was in use, it would only use 20%. So they wouldn't, you know, have a horrible experience with their computer just being bogged down the entire time. But that was I guess,
so
when
you had
started around that time.
You had hacked into how many computers? 100?
Thousands,
Thousands?
tens of thousands. Yeah, probably tens of thousands.
And so all of these tens of thousands of computers are mining cryptocurrency and going into your account?
So that is a known hacker who has turned good. He works with the CIA and the FBI, and you know, he works with large organizations. You know, he's had a very very hefty background in learning the dark web, and then basically he's actually someone I personally look up to and learn from, and yeah, he basically shows how people can go into thousands and thousands of people's webcams and expose people as well. Something that I wanted to just quickly go through: who has your data? One of these actually collects up to 79% of all categories of personal data, whether you use Facebook or not as well. Yeah. So people say to me, oh, well, I use WhatsApp, but I'm not on Facebook. Facebook collects 79% of all categories of personal sensitive data. What that means in real terms is, you know, when you talk about things like, you've got some stuff on the screen here where Facebook collects stuff like, you know, your email address, your sexual orientation, live location, your mobile number, who your employer is. You know, it just gives you an idea of what information that you're putting out there as well. Again, another video. I just want you to actually quickly just have a look at this.
Hello, can I help?
Hot chocolate.
What's the name?
Joel.
What was your name?
Alex.
Alex. There you go, Johnny. If you like our Facebook page, we give you a free hot drink and a free pastry.
Yes, we have a deal on today.
Standing by. Hi there, can I help?
Yeah, just liked your Facebook page.
Okay, I'll search Facebook now.
Searching Google.
Have a phone number.
I've got an email address.
Okay, Carly, are you ready? Yeah. Yes, I am. Netflix. 55 a second. Yeah, got it. Damien is 26 and a fitness instructor.
Oh, do you remember that?
Brayden goes to UCL. Martin went to South Thames College. Assistant psychologist at Great Ormond Street. Oh, pardon?
You know, I'm a Christian as well.
Oh, yeah, we know everything about you, Martin. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Anna from Russia.
I hope you found that video interesting. I mean, that was a controlled ethical hack that happened in London 2 years ago, actually, as well. And one thing I really wanted to say here is that, and again, it's another tip that I wanted to give yourselves, and please pass this on to your family as well, and within your own businesses, making sure that when you're going into coffee shops, your Costas, your Starbucks, or whatever, you know, logging onto an unsecure Wi-Fi, in my professional opinion, is an absolute no-no. Do remember, the hackers do operate on unsecured Wi-Fi material where all the hacker does. So again, what I've done to demonstrate this as well to various clients is that we're able to create Costa underscore, and it says free Wi-Fi. And the amount of people that would actually click onto that and try and get onto that Wi-Fi, and guess what? Everything that they're actually surfing on the net when they're having their coffee is we're able to kind of see as well. Yeah. So the answer, the tip is that get something that covers you, so a VPN. Now I use, and I'm not a salesperson for Norton or anything like that, but I use something called Norton. Yeah. So a virtual privacy network is almost kind of a layer of protection, so you're able to actually go through what's called a secure Wi-Fi, yeah, as opposed to going through unsecure Wi-Fi as well. All right. And the other thing I would say is that making sure that you're looking at your privacy and security settings, whatever apps that you use, make sure you go into the privacy and security settings, especially for your Alexas and all that stuff as well. You know, the devices that do listen to you and profile you, making sure that they're not recording your every movement and voice as well. So again, what I was going to say here is that there is a website that I wanted to give you, and again, I gave it to the last session as well. But how safe is your email? Now, again, do remember as hackers, what I was going to say we do as hackers, but I'm not. I'm an ethical hacker. Remember, what we do is almost kind of we think like hackers who are trying to get into your information. So there is a website called haveibeenpwned.com. Yeah, all right. Make a note of that and put your email address in there. So while you're listening to me today, please take a note and put your personal email address in there, and it will actually tell you how much of your information has actually been breached by other companies that you've given your personal data to. And guess what? What hackers will do is go on the dark web and harvest that data. And if it's juicy stuff that you've actually got, they will attack you. All right. So it's https://haveibeenpwned.com. Put your personal email address. I can assure you it's a safe email to go into. And while you're listening to me, it's probably worth, if you do want to, we'll have Q&A at the end as well. If you want to feel confident enough to kind of tell me, you know, if you have been breached, please feel reach out to me offline as well. Another video for you guys.
Talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's his name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1.
Like my birthday,
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th,
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie, 6/12/95.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468. And then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gemma, 1, 2, 3. Spelled Gemma. Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So like
Like, what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name,
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
So, what the reason for talking about this is that, passwords is something, it is a massive topic in the cybersecurity world. And what I wanted to say is on the dark web, you can buy something called a brute force attack. So it's a managed service that you can buy on the dark web. And what they basically do is look at kind of what it does, it hacks into your password basically, right? So what you've got is just to demonstrate, and please look at this now as well, where on here, it's something I created back in 2022, where it gives you an assessment, an audit of how to audit your own passwords that you actually use as well. Yeah, so if your password, so have a look, think about your password, obviously don't call it out. If your password is something like 7 characters and lowercase, using brute force, a hacker can instantly access your password. All right, so it's very easy to get people's email addresses, but looking at the posture of your password is really, really important. Now, number of characters, if your characters is 18 digits, numbers, uppercase, lowercase, letters, and symbols, then it takes 438 trillion tech years to actually break into your password. So you want to be in the green region, put it that way, yeah? Now, a lot of this is about, it's very difficult to remember 18-digit passwords. I get it. I'm the same as you as well. But what I do is I use 3 random phrases, which is, in fact, it's over the 18 digits that I use. Obviously, sticking to the numbers, uppercase, lowercase, letters, and symbols. What I do is these 3 random phrases that are totally not connected to each other, and I don't tell anyone, all right? So that's what I personally do. Now, with AI coming on board over the last couple of years, this password stuff has been accelerated. So again, I've given numbers on this as well before, but in terms of that 18 characters, it used to be 438 trillion tech years, but now if you were to buy a brute force attack, this is in the region of 1 minute 37 at the moment, yeah? So you can see that how easy it is to actually hack into passwords depending upon the number of characters as well. I actually have a password manager. And again, I mentioned Norton earlier, but if you Google it, you'll be able to kind of see lots of password managers, but I really do empower people to invest in a password manager. They're not really expensive, but it's a layer of security where you only have to remember that one long password with 3 random phrases, etc., and it scrambles all the other passwords for you as well, right? So that's another tip there. Let me carry on. Do not recycle passwords as well. And what I mean by that is try and kind of keep them varied. Do not have the same passwords for the same websites, because if your bank password is the same password as your Hotmail or Gmail account, guess what? I mean, as I've just demonstrated, it's very easy to get into other banking apps that you may use the same password with as well. Mitz, Bob, just wanted a checkpoint there. Any questions or any hands up or anything like that? Or
Right now, it's kind of quiet. Hey, I got a question for you though.
Okay.
I know Apple's working on rolling out a new Apple password app. Do you have any
Yeah.
feedback on that?
To be honest with you, I'm still studying it as well. I wouldn't really be able to comment on that as well. I have got one of my team doing a white paper on that at the moment. So I'm more than happy to share once we learn more about that as well.
Got it.
Okay, yeah, but generally when I talk about passwords, I always say, yeah, have your strong password, etc. But I would actually have layers of different approaches where you have your password manager, you have your VPN on as well, and making sure you're aware of, making sure your Wi-Fi password's not actually compromised, all that kind of stuff as well. The other tip I've got for all of you is to make sure that go into your privacy security settings for all your apps over a period of time and make sure, I mean, it says two-factor authentication, you know what, but I would say multi-factor authentication. So when you go onto your phones, very good, easy to use your face, your biometric information, text message, emails. I will absolutely empower you to do that because it makes you, it can prevent 99.9% of automatic attacks that do actually exist out there as well, yeah? Just as a bit of technical information, there are lots and lots of definitions on attack vectors as well. What you've actually got is, here are some words that, these are types of cyber attacks, yeah? And if you ask me which are the most common ones, social engineering, so, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, where they're able to emulate your accounts and break into your personal information. Phishing, we've already spoken about, where you get emails that are very kind of believable, and you've clicked on the link and suddenly they've got access to your webcam. And then you got something called ransomware attack as well. 90% of ransomware actually happens from a phishing email. And something that I wanted to kind of give you on the board, just bear with me, So ransomware does actually, once you actually have clicked on a link, ransomware does spread on your devices as well. And what basically happens is, all of a sudden, where you've got something juicy that is kind of hackable, you will get a screen such as this. So this is a real live screen where once the hacker has been sitting on your, let's say, device for 290 days, what will happen is that you'll get probably a video or a file on here giving you a clock that's timing down. And what will actually happen, they will not let you pass this particular screen until you paid them. I don't know, in this case, it's got $300 worth of Bitcoin to this address. But I always say, look, never, ever pay as well. All right. So as soon as you pay, I demonstrate to my clients and to friends and family that they'll appear on a good payers list, which is a known hot topic and a hot property on the dark web that you can buy. So as soon as you do actually pay this $300, guess what? You'll be trending and people will be wanting to buy your data on the dark web as well. All right. So it's something that, everything I'm saying today, this is almost the last bit that actually happens. And you will never, ever be able to get past this particular screen itself. All right. So please do not get into this position. But if you use the hints and tips that I've touched upon today, and there's lots more other stuff to give you more of a layered approach that I can provide you as well. So again, reach out to me. I can do a health check for you to give you a posture check in terms of how hackable you actually are as well. This is a quick video on ransomware, so please have a look at this. So what I was going to say there is that a few tips that just from that quick video as well. So to prevent a ransomware attack actually happening, just make sure that you've got good backup facilities in place as well. All right. For me, always back your stuff up, so on your iPhones, you've got iCloud and all that stuff as well. For your business, I mean, I'm not sure what you guys use to back up your data, but please just make sure you have at least 24-hour backups as well. That's what I do. So if you did have a ransomware attack, you can literally chuck that laptop away, and go on to your backup and resurrect your system as well. The other thing I would actually say is keep your devices updated as well. So in the industry, it's called patching, but really it's more kind of when you get your software updates, the Apples and the Androids and all these Microsofts and Google's, they actually ask you to do your software updates. Now, obviously, they're very good at highlighting any kind of vulnerabilities on your devices. So what I do is on my iPhone, I always set my patching or software updates on a regular basis, on an automatic basis as well. Yeah, all right. Really, really important. As I said earlier, it's got it in pounds here, but how much does ransomware cost to buy on the dark web? So if you wanted to buy ransomware, and I do not condone this, by the way, okay, guys, but this just gives you an idea. It costs £48 to buy ransomware. And guess what? I mean, even last week when I looked at the dark web, you can actually buy one, get one free ransomware, and you can just give someone's email address and you can actually get them locked out as well. So that's how easy and how cheap it is to kind of buy ransomware. It is a criminal offense as well, so please don't do that, obviously. I know you won't, but just remember, if it's a hacker that actually goes onto one of these hire hacker services on the dark web, this is how much it would actually cost as well. So quick check in here. A few tips that I wanted to give you just as a bit of a summary, and then we're going to mention a bit more detail in a sec as well. Please be smart about the public Wi-Fi that you use, so your Costas, your Starbucks, any coffee shop that you actually go to. Please be mindful that do not actually go onto public Wi-Fi. That's where hackers do operate. That's their entry point. And remember, I spoke about your home Wi-Fi as well. Yeah. So make sure if you sticker on the back, if that's the code that you still use, I can almost kind of guarantee you that is going to be available on the dark web as well. All right. Don't reuse passwords. Stick multi-factor authentication on as well. So remember, on any app that you use, depending on how many apps you've got, try and go through each app over a period of time and switch on multi-factor authentication. Yeah. So when you're actually accessing your Gmail or Hotmail or any of these apps, it gives you a separate text message or an email to authenticate and verify it's actually you as well. Sure. Was that an open LT? We could look at the B and the bike when I'm over. Sitting the other side of the room.
Oh, is that my twin? Oh,
It's exactly the same.
what the hell?
I know people walking past, like, what are two Brompton stores doing right opposite each other? I feel like I'm in some parallel universe.
And that's a couple who were just in it, right?
Yeah.
They on bike.
They walked in from here.
And then they went over there.
Back in their website.
I'm really confused.
Everyone go with it.
She just wondered what was going on. He was like, do you want to test out one of our bikes? No, they've got the same tags as us.
But how are those Bromptons delivered into their shop? What? What's happening?
I think these are our delivery. It's 146. You sure this isn't delivery for over? Brompton. No, it's mate.
Are you Brompton?
No, Brompton.
No, I can't even tell. What the hell? All right, we've got customers.
Hold on.
Hi, guys.
I said we were Brompton. Any parts? It's like £40. It's a demonstration. It's a couple of different methods. Oh, sorry, just 1 second. Sorry. So actually, it's not that turning trees here and now.
What's the smallest size?
You don't want the mud guards to take them off?
See you later. Bye-bye. See you.
What was that?
The guy said, tell me your favourite 3 things about the tyre.
What the hell is going on?
You're getting close down.
Really? What should we do?
Whoa. What are you doing?
It will take a sign down. This is not okay.
The fact that you don't know what to do in that situation, it's daunting, really. It's one thing if you see it online, but as you see it right in front of you, and it really brings it home that this is happening probably everywhere with every brand. I was in so much shock. I was going to take my t-shirt off and just walk out. Oh, it is. I was like, what is going on? Like, to see the company being undermined like that, and it really makes it real.
Every hack in this film is based on real criminal methods. If you fall victim, Hiscox will get you back up and running fast. Hiscox, experts in small business insurance.
Yeah, I mean, so this is something obviously I got from Hiscox as well. It's a very educational video that they use, but I can definitely verify that from now on at the moment. Again, copying a business's brand and identity. Let me rephrase that. Sorry, copying a business's brand and identity is a hot topic at the moment as well. Yeah. So if you've got if you've got your own brokerage, let's say if you accept payments on your website, etc. as well, it's very easy to kind of emulate people's websites that people do as well. British Airways had it quite a few years ago where they were able to emulate the British Airways website. So you might be actually looking to book a flight with British Airways, but there was a very similar website where people were going in booking flights and they were circumventing the payments as well. All right. So there are ways and means, I'm getting a bit technical here now, but how to identify any kind of mimicking websites as well that are actually circumventing and acting as you as well. And the aim here is the hackers will try and block your business until you pay ransomware as well. So again, it's a big topic at the moment that I can talk about when we have detailed chats as well. This is just like a screen, guys. Again, you're going to get a copy of these slides, and again, I won't go into too much detail, but these are the entry points to actually defend your business as well. So if you've got databases, your servers, if you've got making sure that you've got firewalls in place on your hardware, making sure you've got spam filters, making sure your desktops and laptops are kind of patched and software update. Remember, you change your Wi-Fi password. The cloud is just somebody else's computer as well. Just please remember that. So it's very important to actually have a layered approach and two-factor authentication to get into the cloud, and making sure that your apps that you actually use, you've actually really looked at your privacy and security settings as well. So one thing that I talk about when I talk to my clients and more particularly clients, what we do is what's called a full health check as well. And what we do is, and again, not just my company, there will be lots and lots of cybersecurity companies out there who will help you review your own business's risk as well. What we do is kind of engage you and say, look, here's a red, amber, green report around, all the reds and ambers are kind of where your vulnerabilities are as well. We'd help you to evaluate like a risk-based approach to basically identify your top 10, top 20 things to actually do. And we give you like a detailed report to have actionable items as well. So that's just our way of helping organizations. We do light health checks, full health checks. Obviously, we do this in line with data privacy legislation as well. So in California, you've got CCPA, all that stuff as well. So my company help you to be compliant with data protection. So such as CCPA is the data privacy legislation in your region, for example, depending on where you're located, and making sure that you're not falling foul of any cyber attacks, data breaches that's going to compromise your business as well. All right. In terms of this, we have DPO, CISO, and Chief AI Officer as a service, but these are just services that we provide to kind of help your business that can be tailored to help you understand how hackable you are and to prevent you being cyber attacked. Again, this slide is busy for a reason. Okay, so there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of global cybersecurity standards. So again, there are lots and lots of security standards on here. So depending upon your actual business, What we do is help you to understand a risk assessment against all these standards as well. Yeah. So if it's your cloud security, there's something called ISO 27017. And what we do is basically give you like a health check against, that particular standard. And then that way you're able to kind of comply with various cybersecurity standards. So again, you'll get this in your pack when I send this out to you, but some of these standards are good best practice to review your business against. And again, Cybercy, my business, will be able to help you to look at things like HIPAA and if it's relevant to you operating out of the UK and EU GDPR and CCPA and all that kind of stuff as well. So step number one from a business perspective is look at obviously most of you will be in the brokerage and real estate industry, obviously. So look at what standard that is relevant to your business and get the badges, at least get a risk assessment. Identify your risk is really, really important kind of thing as well. So just to summarize as well now, so for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to give you 10 stages for the business to actually go through. Okay, yeah? So really, really important part is these are the 10 actionable steps that I want you to go through to protect your business. So step number one is understand your risk. Yeah. So to protect your business, this is step number one. All them standards, there's lots and lots of laws and legislation and frameworks that we can help you with. But if you get a health check, first of all, that will be able to help you where your vulnerabilities and threats are as well. So that's step number one. Step number two is, like I said, choose a risk management framework. So you're all going to have different businesses. In the UK, like I said, it's GDPR, California, CCPA. There's all these badges that you're going to need to actually have to grow your business as well. It's really important. There's a lot of businesses now, if you want to grow your business and get tenders, they're asking for all these badges as well. So depending on what your business posture is and to satisfy your customers and suppliers, how secure you are, really good to understand which risk management framework which is appropriate to your business as well. Stage number three, develop a cybersecurity strategy. Now, this doesn't need to be chapter and verse, but from your own perspective, make sure that from a business perspective, you know what your plans are. It could just be a bit of a to-do list, yeah? So it could be like, I'm going to secure my Wi-Fi. I'm going to make sure I've got a password policy. I'm going to make sure that, when one of my staff is operating out of a Starbucks in downtown, for example, then, okay, well, they're not allowed to kind of go on to unsecure Wi-Fi. So get password managers and all that. But again, this is what we help organizations like yourselves to develop a cybersecurity strategy, and real simple steps. This doesn't have to be chapter and verse. This is just making sure that you're aware of how you're planning to protect your business from getting cyber attacked as well. Step number four is establish a cybersecurity culture. So this is really important. I mean, part of today is about educating yourselves and your businesses around how hackable your business is as well. So having a diligent, aware staff who kind of are aware of these potential cyber attacks and making sure that your company are trained. So again, what we do is do training. We do sessions like this, but we do tailored training as well. And again, it doesn't have to be my company. There are lots of cybersecurity companies that do cybersecurity training. It's very worth investing in a couple of hours or something like that, where you're reaching out to the likes of me and saying, okay, well, can you come speak to my team about cybersecurity so they're not going to compromise your data, your devices, and your services that you provide as well. Stage number five. So like I said, invest in training. It could be a session like this. Part of today is about making you aware, really, really high level stuff today. And hopefully don't want to use jargon and all that stuff, but people just being aware, even from human error, even from clicking on that link, that email link that emulates Apple and it's not Apple, that can have severe consequences as well. So there's lots of hints and tips to at least make people aware of how hackable they are if they click on these links as well. Tip number 6, implement a strong password policy. So I spoke earlier about, how easy it is to hack into people's passwords as a hacker. So implement strong password policies around the complexity. So remember, Switching on your multi-factor authentication by going into your privacy and security settings and enabling, facial recognition or fingerprint or text message or something like that. Really, really important that you actually do that. We spoke about this earlier as well. So if you wanted to take a picture of this, I'll leave this on here for the next 10, 15 seconds anyway. But remember, this was back in 2022. All right. So it's really important that certainly your passwords that you use today for personal and business accounts are not in the black, red, or green region. But then do remember getting your password managers or having two-factor or multi-factor authentication is very, very important to make sure we protect your passwords as well. Step number 7 is regularly audit your cybersecurity as well. So make sure that everything's up to date. I talked about software updates, even on your device, your phone devices, on your laptops, making sure that where you get these automatic software updates, if it's not automatic, try and update it as automatic. Remember, these companies actually want you to update your software for a reason, to patch any vulnerabilities that you may be susceptible to as well. Really, really important for stage 7. Stage 8 is invest in monitoring tools as well. So there's really cheap stuff out there, but depending on the size of your business. But what we do is we help businesses put that layer of security around their business, around their data, devices, and services. And anyone that's trying to attack and send phishing emails, we've got solutions in place to actually help you to understand who's trying to hack you as well. So very much similar to like a house alarm. You've got your house, that's your crown jewels, as it were. You've got your property and all that stuff. It's your private possessions. But investing in monitoring tools is basically having a house alarm. So if anyone does try to kind of break into your house, the alarm goes off. Very much similar. Invest in monitoring tools as well. If anyone wants to know more about that, there are solutions out there that I definitely do recommend as well. Step number 9 is, we've talked about this, multi-factor authentication, add that effective extra layer. But remember, it's very difficult to get into people's devices and data and services if you actually have that privacy and security settings and enable facial recognition, fingerprints, all that stuff as well. So please go into your privacy and security settings and enable multi-factor authentication. And prepare for the worst as well, guys. I mean, I'd be very naive sitting here and saying it won't happen to you. And please don't take this as scaremongering, but what happens with my business is that when individuals and businesses reach out to me, they've already had that ransomware attack as well. So what I advise, my business is all about prevention, making sure that if you do have a cyber attack, make sure you've got an incident response plan where you've got facilities where you back stuff up, and if your systems are down, then you're able to operate from a different site or different network and all that stuff as well. So this is a whole different topic around, if it does happen, then what do you actually have to do as well to make sure that you mitigate the services on your customer as well. So from my perspective, I always talk about an onion in this situation. So we've today talked about cybersecurity is about protecting your devices, your data, so that's personal and commercial data as well, and the services that you provide within your brokerage or real estate business as well. It's very important you take that layered approach. Yeah. So change your Wi-Fi password. Make sure your passwords strengths are really robust. Put your multi-factor authentication on, etc., etc. All the stuff that we've talked about. And it's really, really important that the 5 stages that you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, you identify a risk. You're protecting yourself and the business, your business, against cyber attacks. But detecting these attacks is really important. So that's where the monitoring tools comes in place. And your recovery and respond is about, if it did happen to you, and cyber attacks are going up all the time as well, what do you actually do next as well? And this is where Cybercy can help you as well. So this is just a slide telling you about, again, it's summarizing exactly what I've just said, really. So I won't dwell on this one too much. again, when you get your pack, I am going to kind of look at sending this to you. There are a few items, like a cybersecurity plan of what you should be doing to protect your business as well. So there's 6 steps that I will provide you to make sure these are absolute non-negotiables in my cybersecurity professional world itself. And get yourself a cybersecurity health check as well. So like I said, it's all about kind of understanding, sorry, I don't know what's going on, your reds, ambers and greens. You need to be aware of your reds and ambers around where your threats actually are. And yeah, that's it. So apologies that we've gone over time. It was supposed to be an hour session as well. For those of you who are still with us, please connect with me as well. I mean, if you, it is a safe QR code to actually connect to as well. But have we got time for any questions, where I can answer, Bob or Mitz or?
I looked in the chat. I haven't seen anything come up. But for those of you that are on the call, once this recording is done, I will put it on my personal profile on Workplace. So because we don't have a group for cybersecurity and MoxieWorks, I don't want to just, on Workplace and just throw it in any random group. And then also Sunny's going to share the slides with me. So I will add those into that presentation. So if I was you, anybody that's on the call, please pass, once you see that the presentation is on my personal profile on Workplace, share it out, because everybody needs to know. And the biggest things that me and Mitz deal with, or anybody that's in management with a brokerage, is trying to make sure that every agent will update their computer. Because most of the time they're not going to update it because there's a deal that they have to put together today, right now. It's an emergency and they don't have time to do an update, and they're going to keep ignoring it. And then the last thing you want them to do is click on that email link because they're not paying attention. And now we got a problem. Now that hacker got onto their computer and now they're on your network. So just be diligent with your agents and stuff, and or have them, hey, watch this training video and let them know, hey, why don't you watch this training video that Bob did with his company, with Cybercy Group, and just to get them an idea. If they haven't watched it, encourage them to watch it, or replay it at your office meeting. Take a portion of it and replay it, because it's super important, because the last thing we want to do is call Sunny when it's too late, because it really might be too late.
Sunny, real quick, I think someone just popped up a question for you. What malware product do you recommend? We run on a Mac or Windows computer. Is there anything free to get started?
Yeah, look, there are various free tools out there. But if you go on to, so what I do personally, within my family and my business as well, I adopt Norton. So Norton is something that there's all sorts of deals on it as well, where I can protect my personal device and my business device and my family's devices as well. So Norton is something that I personally use. And again, I'm not here to sell Norton products, by the way, but it's something that's very good and easy to use as well. I think that's important, user-friendly usage as well. So I don't know if that answers your question and that's what you wanted from me, Bob.
No, I admit one of the things that everybody has to realize that's on this call is, like, I use Malwarebytes every once in a while just to have my computer scanned, but there's a difference between the free version and there's a difference with the paid version. The free version, you have to manually scan. Now, think about it. How many of you guys are going to manually scan your devices on a regular basis? Probably zero. Once you install it, you're going to forget about it. So the paid version of Malware Scan does real live time tracking. So if I was to accidentally click on a link that might be malicious, Malwarebytes, if it knows it's malicious from its database, it'll actually block me from getting to that website. So there's free is one thing, but there's a reason why it's free. If you really want to protect your data and protect what you have on your computer, buy a good software and pay for it. That's all I can tell you.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Yep. So that answered your question. Well, Sunny, I appreciate you taking your time to join us, because you know what, we learned a lot. And like I told everybody on Workplace, I will have that recording as soon as it comes through, put it onto my personal profile. And then if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you have any questions for Sunny, reach out to me if you didn't get his contact, and I'll put you in touch with him. Okay, Sunny?
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny.
Bye then.
Take care.
Bye then.